Bear down, family! While the Chicago media is selling you the story of a redeeming victory and a bright future, I'm here to give you the raw truth they don't want you to know. The season is on the line, and what I've just discovered is going to change everything you thought you knew about this team. As Chicago celebrates its first win, a secret surgery could define our defense for the rest of the year. Our millionaire rookie, our great hope, is being benched for an unknown, and an injury threatens to destroy our offensive hopes before they even take off. But that's not all, because what's happening in the offices of Hollis Hall? The decisions being made behind closed doors go much deeper than you imagine. I've got 3 news items that are going to blow your mind. 3 truths that will determine if this season ends in glory or the total disaster we're, let's face it, all ready to use to. Buckle up, because the truth hurts. The bomb no one saw coming. The one management tried to keep quiet just exploded in Hollis Hall. And I'm telling you this with certainty. Jaylen Johnson is going under the knife. And this, folks, completely changes the defensive outlook for the Bears. Ben Johnson, in his press conference, confirmed what we all feared but no one wanted to admit. Our star cornerback, the cornerstone of our secondary, needs surgery on that groin injury that's been haunting him. Surgery. Not a break, not therapy, but a surgical intervention in the middle of the season. But here comes what drives me completely nuts. What makes me question everything. Johnson, according to them, might return later in the season. You know what this means in NFL lingo. It means they have no idea. It means they're selling hope. It means Ryan Poles and this coaching staff are gambling everything that we can stay competitive, while our best defensive player, the only Pro Bowler in our secondary, recovers. I think this is a risky, almost suicidal decision, but necessary because there was no other choice. And who's covering in the meantime? Who do they hand over the keys to the kingdom? Tanashan Wright, a 3rd-round pick from Dallas, a Cowboys discard. The numbers don't lie, folks. And Wright's are pathetic. Pro Football Focus ranks him as the 122nd cornerback. Out of 148 in the entire NFL, 122. When attacked, opposing quarterbacks have a passer rating of 123.7. To give you an idea of this disaster's magnitude, a perfect passer rating is 158.3. They're completing almost everything against him. It's practically perfect for the opposing offense. It's an invitation to throw his way. I ask you this, and I want you to answer honestly. How are we going to compete against the Lions with Amon-Ra St. Brown? Against the Vikings with Justin Jefferson? Against all these elite NFC North receivers with Tanashan Wright as our number 1 cornerback? It's a question that keeps me up at night because, while the Packers have Jaire Alexander completely healthy and ready to nullify our best receiver, we're crossing our fingers with a cornerback who's basically giving away touchdowns. It's a recipe for failure. Let's analyze Johnson's disaster chronology. He was in for barely a quarter and a half the whole season before this relapse. The reality is brutal and has been hidden from us. He suffered an injury in preseason, missed all of training camp, returned in week 2 only to injure the other groin. Is this bad luck, or is there something deeper, something rotten in the Bears fitness program? It's not the first case. Remember Kevin White? The mysterious injuries of other key players over the years. This smells like a systemic problem, not an isolated incident. What worries me most is the timing. The exact moment. We're starting to gain a minimum of momentum after that hard-fought win against Dallas. And now we lose our defensive leader just when we need to build confidence. Just when the offense was beginning to groove. I believe this will test the true depth of this roster Poles has been building. Or rather, the lack of it. This situation will show us if Poles is a genius or if he's been simply lucky. For now, the outlook is bleak. Now let's talk about something that has me torn between hope and absolute concern. Colston Loveland. And that hip injury he suffered against Dallas. ESPN, always so optimistic, reports it's not serious and he might play against the Raiders. But I say this to you, Bear Nation, any injury to our rookie tight end, our top 10 pick, is a giant red alert, a code red for the entire offense. Why so much drama, some might ask? Because Loveland isn't just any rookie. He's not a long-term project. We're talking about the 10th pick in the 2025 draft, a 6'6" beast. Supposed to be Caleb Williams' secret weapon in the red zone, his security blanket. So far, he's been discreet. Yes, 3 receptions for 43 yards in 3 games. But the potential, the threat he represents, is there, waiting to explode. What makes me optimistic? What makes me dream is how he looked at Michigan. Watch the videos. Check the highlights. 56 receptions in just 10 games in his last college year. Those numbers don't lie. This kid has sure hands, a huge catch radius, and the height to be a real problem, a nightmare for any safety or linebacker in the NFL. He's the kind of player Caleb needs to feel comfortable in the pocket, to throw contested balls in the end zone knowing he has the advantage. But here's my real concern, the one keeping me up: if Loveland misses time or plays limited, all the offensive burden on the tight end position will fall on Cole Kmet. And while Kmet is a good player, a solid professional who scored a crucial touchdown against Dallas on his only catch, I believe we need both tight ends healthy for this offense to function at its highest level. Shane Waldron's game plan relies on tight end sets. Losing one is like removing a wheel from a car. Remember when we thought our biggest weakness was the quarterback? Now we have Caleb Williams developing, showing glimpses of greatness. But if he doesn't have the right weapons, especially in the red zone where spaces shrink, we'll keep struggling to score points, to turn long drives into touchdowns instead of field goals. Loveland represents that dimension we've lacked for years, a tight end who can physically dominate in the scoring area. A true mismatch. The good news, if we can call it that, is that the organization seems optimistic about his return for Sunday. But I ask you this, are we being too aggressive with the injuries of our key rookies? Is it worth risking your number 10 pick for a week for game? Patience could be the difference between having Loveland healthy all season, or losing him for several weeks, or even months, trying to rush him. We've seen this movie before in Chicago, and the ending is never happy. And now we come to the news that really has me questioning the decisions of this coaching staff. The one that reveals the cracks in Ryan Poles' building process. Ozzy Trapilo, our second-round pick, the man supposed to be the future of our offensive line, is being completely overshadowed by an undrafted free agent, an unknown named Theo Benedette. This isn't just an anecdote. It's a talent development story that tells us a lot about this new administration. Let's get to the facts. Benedette came in for just 12 snaps against Dallas when Darnell Wright hurt his elbow. And you know what? He didn't allow a single pressure in for pass blocking snaps. 0, nothing. Meanwhile, Trapilo, the 41st overall pick, has been a healthy scratch for 3 consecutive games. Inactive, Ryan Poles said the rookie hit a rookie wall during training camp. But I tell you this, how is a second-round pick such a high investment being so categorically outplayed by an undrafted? Ben Johnson has been diplomatic, as always, about Trapilo, saying he's improving every day and there will be a point this season where he'll be playing for us. Empty words, friends. The reality, the truth we see on the field, is that Benedette, a kid from the University of British Columbia in Canada, not even the NCAA, earned his spot on the 53-man roster and is capitalizing on every damn opportunity he's given. What impresses me most about Benedette, and what should concern us about Trapilo, is how he handled that high-pressure situation before halftime. He came in cold during the 2-minute drill with the game on the line, perfectly protected Caleb Williams' blind side, and that drive ended with Cole Kmet's touchdown. That's what I call stepping up when it matters, showing up when it counts. That's what you expect from a Chicago Bears player, but here's my real analysis. The bare truth, this isn't just a criticism of Trapilo. It's a celebration of the depth we finally seem to have on the offensive line. Remember the dark years not long ago, when a minor starter injury meant total disaster for our protection. Now we have guys like Benedette who can step in and not miss a beat. That's credit to Poles and the offensive line coach, Chris Morgan. However, as an organization, you must ask, what's happening with Trapilo's development? A second-round pick should be competing for playing time, not being a healthy scratch. I think this speaks to two things, and neither is entirely good. Either Benedette is an incredible diamond in the rough that all NFL teams overlooked, which would be a genius move by our scouts, or we have massively failed in evaluating Trapilo, which would be a colossal error by our general manager. The offensive line had its best game of the season against Dallas. Caleb Williams wasn't sacked once. That's real, tangible progress, and much of the credit goes to guys like Braxton Jones and yes, Theo Benedette when called to act. But the shadow of a second-round pick's failure looms over this unit. These 3 news items, family, paint a complex picture, a chiaroscuro of where the Bears are at this crucial point in the season. We have Jaylen Johnson fighting to return from surgery that could define our defense. Colston Loveland trying to stay healthy to be the weapon Caleb Williams desperately needs. And Ozzy Trapilo being outperformed by an undrafted seizing every opportunity. I ask you this, And I want to read your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Nashan Wright can keep the defense competitive until Johnson returns, or do we need an urgent trade? Do you think Loveland should play against Las Vegas? Or should we be more cautious with his recovery and think long-term? And what are your thoughts on the Trapilo-Benedette situation? Is it natural development, a sign of our new depth, or a giant red flag about Ryan Poles' draft decisions? This season is full of fascinating storylines, and every decision Ben Johnson makes, every move by Ryan Poles will impact our immediate future. The Bears finally have a clear direction, but the path is full of obstacles, of landmines that will test the true quality of this organization. If you want to keep up with all these news and in-depth analysis like this one, if you're tired of the official narrative and want the truth, I need you to subscribe right now. This Bears fan community is growing because we don't settle for surface-level analysis. Here we dig deep, we question, we celebrate, and we suffer together as the Chicago family we are. Hit subscribe. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. And let me know in the comments which of these news items worries or excites you most. See you in the next video, Bear Nation. Because here, we don't swallow the management stories. Here, we search for the truth. Keep bleeding navy blue and orange. Bear down.